And we are live with another podcast this weekend. We finished nothing, Soto. We finished nothing. We're going to get into that a little bit. We had an off week last week. Um, I think you had to take a little time off, but we are live again,
Did
having a little fun, and just going to talk some shit as we usually do every week. So yeah, we'll get into the we finished nothing a little bit, but yeah, I started my new position today up in Candia. We were just kind of briefly talking about that. So it's a regular,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like being a
Yep.
regular carrier. So it's like I get the full benefits. It's a good thing. Weirdly enough, the way it works out, it's like I'll be making the same amount of money because you can work more. You can get like a lot more money beforehand, but
Yeah.
basically you're going to do the same for, you're doing less for the same money. It's kind of, but it's good. And Candia is just a nice, quiet little town, and got to drive around for the first, time today. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's a very
So
small
so
town
no
feel.
more no more Hollis trips.
So nope, no more Hollis trips, no more Hudson trips, no more going to Vermont, Maine, anything like that. My foot's in the door. Once you become regular, that's good. And then you just kind of look,
Yeah.
see what's next. Some people like to get a bigger route because it's more money. Some people like to get a smaller route because they're getting to retirement age. So it depends, but
Yeah.
it's the good thing about the post office is they do it. I mean, you can say good or bad, but everything's based on seniority. So
Hmm.
it doesn't matter how good a job you're doing, blah blah blah. They try and be fair, as long as you're still employed. So, but yeah, I was 4 years at my position, and finally, I put in a bid. That's what you have to do, and they said you got it. I said, oh shit, and yeah, so I'll
Wow.
miss Nashua, but I'm moving on.
Yeah, no more running into old blockbuster managers.
No, I didn't get chance. I think I saw him like a week or two ago. Well, we
Yeah.
don't know. There could be someone that lives in Canada. I could run into someone that we just haven't heard about in
True.
years.
I have
Probably
no idea
not, but
what the hell is in Candia? Like I have no idea. Like I don't think I've ever
I didn't know
even.
much about Canada. It's 15 minutes from Manchester. It's kind of close
Yeah.
to Raymond as well. No, it's just like I said. It's very small town, woodsy. A lot of older folks. But yeah, no, it's not a bad town. It's not way up north where you get into scary New Hampshire. Where they could, you know, aliens come and
Well,
abduct you.
I have been in scary New Hampshire, and I've actually been so far up in New Hampshire that there's no electrical lines anymore, and it's just the roads are all dirt roads, and it gets kind of scary up there.
Some places
Um,
can, yeah.
yeah, rod and gun clubs or whatever those are, old hunting lodges, things of that nature. I don't really fuck around with too much of New Hampshire past Nashua, and we all know the reason I go to Nashua. Mainly is because there's a Panda Express there. So,
That's
which I
it.
just
That's
did.
it.
I just did that recently. I don't even know.
Did
Oh,
you do it
I think
again?
it
We
was a
talked about
Wednesday.
it a couple weeks ago. That was the
Oh, I
thing.
did it again.
Oh my god.
I did it again. Yeah, I stopped by my parents' house, and I was like, I had a package that got delivered there, so I stopped by, and then I'm like, well, fuck, I'm in the area. Let me get some shrimp. And let me tell you something. I ate like I got like the big plate, and it's like three servings of. They have this wok fried shrimp there. I got three servings of shrimp because I know we've discussed how much shrimp I could eat. Three servings of shrimp, and then like they're super greens, quote unquote. And I'll tell you, man, an hour later, I felt like I hadn't eaten anything. Like I was like,
It's
oh
the
no, I'm
way it works.
starving.
It's the
I was
way.
like, wait, why am I so hungry? I definitely ate lunch, and it was definitely a ridiculous amount of protein. But for whatever reason, man, like I have the same problem with sushi too. Like anytime I eat
Oh, I love
seafood,
sushi. Yeah.
I'm just like, did I eat? I don't know if I ate. I don't know if it just digests quicker than good old fashioned red meat. But every time I eat fish, I just an hour, 2 hours later, I'm like, I don't know if I ate today. So yeah, I had another excursion into Panda Express and New Hampshire in general. But yeah, speaking of New Hampshire, I saw that you no longer have to get your car inspected. Is
Yeah,
this
we'll,
a
we'll
good
talk
thing?
about we'll talk about that in just a second. So I am going to say I have Sundays off now, and once it
Oh,
kind of settles down, I'll have every other weekend off. Though if I work my
hmm.
day off, it's overtime. That's the one benefit about being regular. I can have the whole week off, but if I work my scheduled day off, it's overtime. It could be the only day I work that week. It's overtime. So
Wow.
FYI, if you want a Panda Express trip and we will take pictures and make this a big thing, I'm all for, because I don't do Chinese a lot. I can't, but we will just see, we will document this. But yes, we need to have a Panda Express. But back to your, yes, Jill
Oh,
actually
good.
told me this either like yesterday or the day before that
Yeah.
cars don't need inspections here in New Hampshire, which, believe it or not, I know a
Hmm.
lot of states you don't. When I lived in Minnesota, you just needed a quick emissions test,
Yep.
and that's about it. Just make sure it's not smog, but that's it. The good thing about New Hampshire, good or bad, depending on how you look at it, it's the live free or die state. So you don't
Yeah.
need car insurance unless you have a loan. If you have a bank loan, that's a requirement. That's a requirement anywhere in the United States. They're not.
Oh,
You have to have
okay.
insurance if you get a loan because once a long
Makes
time.
sense.
Well, yeah, they need to protect their shit
Yeah,
too.
of
Um,
course. Yeah. It's
though
not
I,
actually yours. Yep.
yeah, though I got out of it somehow, and so I don't know. It's a mixed thing. I think it's getting to the point like, yeah, it depends on how much people want to take care of their cars. Because with inspections, it's always tough. You're like, well, are these people telling us, what's the line? I've taken my car because I have a Kia, and they actually had there was a recall on an item, so I took it to a Kia
Yeah.
dealership, and I was just like,
Hmm.
yeah, hey, it's free, just fix it. And they're like, hey, do you want to do a? I see you're a little bit behind on your inspection, and I was like, shit, yeah, my check engine light was on. I'm like, fuck it, just do it. And then they came back and like, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And it's gonna be like
Ugh,
$4,500. And then I take
hate
it to,
that shit.
and then I take it to my usual spot, which me and Jill go to, and yeah, it was like 100. There's just something, and it's like I don't know if they make up shit. I don't, I know how to put gas in a car. I actually know how to change tires. It's been a long time. I know how to use a
Yeah.
jack and stuff like that. But
Yep.
it's not like I know a lot about cars. It's not my forte. I know where the oil goes. I know where certain liquids go, and that's about it. But you know what I mean? They can just say whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm like, well, fuck. I need this inspection to drive another year. I've actually
Oh,
I told
it's
my
the worst,
daughter.
right?
Yeah, no. One thing I told my daughter is like, listen, if you're behind on your bills, always pay your car first. I'm like, because if worst comes to worst, you always have a place to live. Blah blah blah. But I'm like, your car it gets you places. It gets you to your job. But
It's
now, yeah,
freedom. Yeah.
so yeah,
Well,
I guess I don't have a problem with it. A lot of states do it. The no inspection. I have not looked into to see what we might be doing or when this takes effect. To be honest with you,
yeah.
so I mean, but the reason why a lot of states can do the no inspection is because they have required insurance. Like in Minnesota, you have a license, you need insurance. You have a car, you need insurance. New Hampshire, you
Yeah.
don't. You don't. Not you can just be like, yeah,
That's kind of
I'll take.
fucked up.
Yeah, whatever, saves you
You gotta
money.
pay for shit out of pocket. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you get into a major car accident,
Only if
like
you
I did.
cause it. Well, yes.
Yeah, it's like 15. That's like $15,000. It's like, and shit can happen. And speaking of spending a ton on cars, so I lived in New Hampshire, obviously, as you know, and that was like a yearly pain point of being like, is my vehicle gonna pass, and is this gonna cost me a fucking arm and a leg? Because you take it to these dealerships, and they really fucking just drive the screws to you. And I just
Yep.
went and got my car serviced. My AC had gone out in my car, and if you've lived here for the last 7 days, you can probably guess that that's not really too great. You see, you drive obviously a little post office truck. I don't
Oh,
think those
that's
have AC, do
nope.
they?
The
Um,
new trucks will have ACs whenever those come out. But yeah, this just has a fan.
yeah,
But
and
yeah.
it's like 100 degrees outside, and you're like out there, like, doing your thing. So I had to fix my car. I guess a rock had hit my AC compressor or some shit. That's what they tell me. They had to special order a part. All in all, it was like 1,400 fucking bucks. They had to pay, and then they wanted to add on other shit like that was $800 and 600. And I'm like, no, just fix my AC compressor. And so, when I lived in New Hampshire, that was like a yearly, fucking dread because I drove a lot of bullshit cars. I had a Dodge Neon. I had a GMC pickup truck. I had a fucking Pontiac Sunfire. I had a Chrysler Sebring. I had really shitty cars. I think the best car I ever had was honestly the Geo Metro. But I was always worried, even to the point where, I may or may not have had a fake inspection sticker at one point that it was given to me under the table by a mechanic friend that I had that he fashioned up for me because I just didn't want to have to deal with um, the bullshit of that. It's the mechanic guy. If you remember the cabriolet that we fucking ended up driving,
Oh my
you
God,
ended up
yes.
driving. It was that guy who
Because
fucking
you couldn't
gave
drive.
me a
That was a
fucking
standard, right? You couldn't drive standard.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. My plan was I was going to learn. But then after, I had broken up with my girlfriend at the time and everything, it was just all fucking complicated. This was during our new market chapter, if you remember.
Oh yeah, no. I
This
think it
thing
was on the side of the
was
road,
parked
and
in
then
front of,
we
yeah,
had to get off the streets, but your car wouldn't start. So I think
yeah,
I had my the Saturn, the SUV. I forget what it was.
yes,
But and yeah, and, like we literally drove it very carefully against your bumper so I could push it up the hill just to get it in the front.
yes.
Like, yeah, no,
Oh
I
my
remember that.
God, dude. It
Yeah,
was
that car
absolutely
was adventurous
insane.
until you sold it.
An $800 little fucking car. And, but again, to go back to the inspection thing, it was just such a freaking, especially if you didn't pass admissions or some shit. It was always going to be like a surprise. You're like, fuck, is this going to be the year where I have to spend $1,200? And at the time, I didn't have money to pay for that. And I know a lot of people are in that same situation. A lot of people don't even have like $1,000 saved up to be able to handle that. I mean, car situations are wicked expensive, and when you're
Yep.
paying for insurance on top of it and shit like that, it's a royal pain in the ass. So, I'm cool with it. I just wish it would have happened a lot earlier when I lived there. It would have saved me some money. I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel any danger is going to come from it really, because if your car doesn't work, I mean, it's not going to work. It won't be on the road. Um, but I thought that was interesting that happened, and it's funny they won't legalize cannabis in New Hampshire because that's too much. But they'll be like, "Nah, you don't need to inspect your car. That's no problem."
Yeah, let your car crash. So
You don't have to wear seatbelts in New Hampshire either, do you?
I think that finally changed. I think that
Okay,
finally became a law, but I do remember for the longest
no
time.
helmets though, right? Like you don't have to wear a helmet on a
I
motorcycle
don't
in New
know.
Hampshire.
I don't ride drive motorcycles, so I
I
can't.
know
I
you
don't
don't.
want to say the wrong thing. So I'm looking. I quickly look. So yes, vehicle inspections will be done as of January 31st, 2026. So
Hey, dude,
basically
that's around the
next year.
corner.
So basically, my next birthday, because it's January, I still will get the inspection, so it'll be afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
emissions testing will also be repealed by the end of the next September. So yeah,
Yeah.
your car will have to buy emission. So yeah, I mean, it's basically what a lot of states are doing. They're like, listen, you fix your car, I, I don't know, because like you said, sometimes it depends on the mechanic, how much you trust them.
I
A
know.
lot of
I gotta
times
get one.
we like ours. Like I said, we'll get it done cheap, and they're usually just like, "Listen, we can cut you a deal. Like, you don't need this, but you might need this later." Blah blah blah. Excuse me, but like Jill told me the story. I think one year because she actually had a rear windshield wiper, and
Hmm.
it didn't work, and she didn't pass because it didn't work. And her mom
Oh no.
removed her own, and because she removed it and it wasn't there, she passed. And that's all you have to do. Think about that. Yeah, it didn't work, so like, yeah, you don't pass your state inspection. Oh, let me just take that off. Oh, you don't have one now? Okay, you pass. That's how dumb this shit is. And I get it, but
Yeah, I agree.
cars, yeah, you should have the basic stuff. But like I said, I mean, if your car doesn't work, you're fucked regardless, because your engine goes out, at
Yeah.
your wheels, you got to fix it. So I'm fine with it. I guess we'll see, once everything comes together, what the new laws will be and what you need to get done and
Hmm.
what might change. And
Yeah.
like I said, car insurance, because, you know, car insurance I know it can be good, but at the same time, you think about the money you spend, you're like, well, if one thing happened, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But hi, Reaper.
Yeah.
How's it going? I don't know if you live in New England, but yeah, we're just bitching about the new car situation. So, but
So strange the difference between Massachusetts and New Hampshire. It's like just weird. I mean, New Hampshire is kind of like I've said it before. It's like a southern state and randomly in the middle of New England.
really, it's
Um,
still a blue state. I mean, it's not a red state.
it is, but it's boy, it's got a lot of red parts to it.
Well, it's just like a lot most
Especially when
cities. Yeah, I mean, most places with cities, that's the blue part. But yeah, you look at rural areas, it's just like Western Mass is all red. But yeah, no. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
it's
Narnia.
crazy. Yes, it's definitely Narnia up in there. So
It's fucking Narnia and like I don't know shit about Western Massachusetts. Like I'm fucking if I go out to Western Massachusetts, I'm like, am I in a different fucking country? What the fuck is this? Eastern Massachusetts is where I roll, specifically, the Merrimack Valley. That's pretty much where I'm living right now. But it's just Massachusetts cannabis is legal. New Hampshire, it's not. In Massachusetts, you can't have liquor in the convenience store. You can in New Hampshire, but their liquor, no, their
it's the
beer
other way
in
around.
convenience
I
stores.
thought it was the other way around. You can't
No,
have
no, no.
liquor in
Well,
New
in
Hampshire.
Massachusetts, yeah, you can. Okay, so New Hampshire, the liquor stores are state run, but
Correct.
there's no beer in the liquor stores, right? From my understanding. And but you can get beer at like Cumberland Farms,
Correct.
and gas
Grocery
stations. You can
stores.
get beer and wine,
Yes.
right? You can't Massachusetts. You can't get beer and wine in the grocery stores. You have to go to the package store. And the package store is what has the liquor in it. There are no like there. It's like built so that the liquor stores are going to be able to be profitable. But in New Hampshire, there's nothing like that. There's no package stores or anything. So I just find it's weird. It's like loose in some ways and weird in other ways. And call Massachusetts Taxachusetts, but the taxes are not really too high. That's the role that we get. But the cigarettes, though,
That's a
for
different
those of
story.
us who still smoke. I have a lot of friends who still smoke and still cross the border into New Hampshire because, yeah, cigarettes are way cheaper. And aren't you just glad that you don't have that cost in your life as a weekly cost? Can you imagine?
I don't. I'm not saying my wife doesn't. Um, but before we
Oh,
continue,
fuck, that's right.
Reaper, we're both doing well. We're both just drinking,
Yeah, we're hanging
chilling
in
on a
there.
Saturday. I got a Sam Adams here. But speaking about going
Another
back to
rainy
your liquor,
Saturday.
Minnesota law. I don't know if you know this, but because I worked at a grocery store when I was in Minnesota, we can't sell beer on Sundays. The blue law.
Oh, it's
So
like one of those blue laws.
we have to like close off the eye. You know how many people get fucking pissed because it's like I
Oh yeah.
think like going Saturday into Sunday. Technically, they can sell it like 2 a.m. going in. But yeah, the registers literally shut it off. But yeah, we it just got fed up that we taped off the aisle. So
Oh, you
oh,
have to. Yeah. I mean, I think I went to Georgia. There was one Sunday that I got up early, and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and go down to Walmart and grab myself some beer because I had the day off. And I bring my beer up to the freaking register, and they're like, "It's not noon." I'm like, "Okay,"
oh,
and they're like, "You can't buy that," and I'm like,
you're like
"Cool, I
I'm an
feel so
adult, motherfucker.
free." Yeah, I'm like, "Oh wow, like I'm not allowed to buy something that you have in your store, like because of some weird ass blue law." Like,
Yep.
I get it. Like, yeah, alcohol is a terrible thing and whatever, but I'm kind of the mindset that you should still be freed if you want to fuck up your life because you want to drink it fucking in the morning on a Sunday. I mean, that should be your choice.
Plan ahead.
I'm
You
not
need to
saying it's
plan
right.
ahead.
True, but sometimes you wake up and you're fucking depressed and you're like, you know what? I want to drink vodka this morning. Thankfully, I've never been that depressed, but there are people. I mean,
Oh,
I used to work at Shaw's and I would work at like I don't know, Shaw's open 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, dude, and there'd be some old ass people coming in to Shaw's at 7 o'clock in the morning, dude, and they're filling their fucking like their cart with like 330 racks of like bud to start their fucking day. And I'm like, holy shit. And they would get like also like 2 cartons of cigarettes. So like you just have these old ass people getting like 2 cartons of cigarettes and 330 racks at the same time. And it wasn't just like one guy. It was like multiple people were like, this is how I'm gonna start my fucking day. That's a lot. But I think that you should, I don't think that choice should be taken away from you because it's like it just becomes inconvenient. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that opinion, but it's just kind of like not everybody can plan ahead. Sometimes you're just on the fly and you're like, hey, I've got the day off, and at least for me back in the day, I used to want to be like, I have the day off, so I'm gonna drink like 6 beers. Or when you're traveling, and I know you've traveled a bit too, but traveling is very lonely, and when I'm feeling down or lonely or things like that, and I'm in a weird, strange place all by myself, I'll go and I'll drink. It's not healthy, but you never know when you're gonna need that. And I don't know. I'm just saying it's kind of weird that a state would basically keep that from happening for an entire day on Sunday. I mean, there's football on Sundays. They're just trying to lose money.
yeah, pretty much. It's got to be that. I
We're
mean,
Vikings. We're Vikings fans.
or fans of other states too. I mean, that's why I
Mhm.
plan ahead. Just plan ahead. But I think there's like liquor stores, and I don't know if that's across the board or if that was just like grocery stores. So I don't remember. It's been so long since I've lived there. So, but yeah, I just
Yeah, they might
remember.
have changed. Yeah,
Well, it is just 3-2 beer, So I mean, that's just always
yeah.
sold at good old Rainbow Food. So, oh,
Rainbow.
well, that was the name of the grocery store I worked at. That no longer exists. Soto, if you, I gotta tell you this: the first 20 years of work, I can't prove anymore. The grocery store I worked at, Rainbow Foods, gone. Like they've officially
Yeah,
closed down. I was there. It was my first job in Minnesota, 6.5, 7 years before I moved back out here. Like it's gone.
yeah.
Blockbuster Video.
You
I
could say,
spent
yeah.
what 12 years here, 11, 12 years there. Gone. Can't prove that anymore.
Oh,
Fresh
yeah, I'm
Market,
gonna start
gone.
listing that I was a district manager, like, in my resumes, if I ever have to, but yeah, I was a
TTSM. I know.
district manager. I was a district manager. I ran 40 stores in the Massachusetts area. Who's gonna double
I will
check
be.
that?
I'll be your source. They can call me. I know I put
Yeah,
you down as a
exactly.
source. Let's be honest though. You've done hiring. You've hired people.
Many
I know we've
times.
done Blockbuster,
Many
other jobs,
times.
stuff like that. Let me ask
Yeah.
you: how many times have you legitimately called a source that was on a resume?
Oh, like never. And I'll tell
Exactly.
you
No
that
one does it.
in my no one does it. It just it's on there and you know, eh, but no one ever does. If unless you're getting like a job in the government or some shit, that's the only time they'll call people. Oddly enough, dude, the last time the most people that call me for resources or references or some shit are like my old friends that are like in the cannabis industry still. They'll like go through all these things and people will say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna call you." And I've had to like be on phone interviews for friends and being like, "Yeah, no, this is why they would be really great at selling weed." That industry, the cannabis industry in Massachusetts, takes itself so seriously and so stupidly at the same time. I don't know how to describe it, but no one in the Massachusetts cannabis industry is professional. And everybody in the Massachusetts cannabis industry is fucking high all the time, unless you're an owner of these places. But everybody's always high, from C-level executives to vendors, everything like that. They're always fucking high, and they're always making mistakes, and they're always wicked unprofessional. I mean, shit, dude. Like in the last place that I was at, it's like in the employee handbook that you can't be under the influence, but they had like a whole don't ask, don't tell shit, and bud tenders would be coming back high all the time. And I'd have to look at people coming in from their breaks, and it's like, what job have you ever worked at where somebody that was reporting to you, and I know you've been a manager a lot of times, but a person comes in and they're just like, hey, what's up? And they're fucking cooked, and you can see it in their eyes and everything like that. And you just got to be like, how was your break? And they're like, yeah, it was good, man. Fucking, it was great. Like, I just hit the bong in the fucking car. And you're like, you have just admitted to doing drugs and being under the influence on the shift, and I can't do anything about it because that's the way that the industry is built. Isn't that fucking wild?
It is.
But then they have like recruiting agencies for cannabis, all sorts of stupid ass shit. They try to fucking have meetings like a regular fucking place would and shit like that, but there's just so many stupid fucking people in that industry in high level positions. There's such high turnover. It's not a serious industry. And even customers would come in and be like, they would see the staff high and they're like, well, this is great because now I know that, they like the good stuff. I'm like, no other industry is like that. And so that's the only industry that in the last 10, 15, 20 years, and I've had a wide variety of contacts and everything like that. The cannabis industry calls for like reference checks and shit like that, where I have to sit down and I have to be fucking interviewed on behalf of a friend of mine who wants to work at a place that they're only going to work there for 3 months.
I know it feels like a waste of time. I've been
Fucking
people's
dumb, dude.
sources too. I had an assistant at the Fresh Market, and he called even long after I think he was gone and I was pretty much done. He kept my name, and he would text me like, "Hey, can I use you as a reference?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Yeah, like, and I
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I got called a couple times by whatever but it's the same mumbo jumbo because you can't ask certain questions on you can't answer certain questions, excuse me, as a
Correct.
reference. Like you can
Yep.
be like, oh, that employee's a shit, you just it's the basics. So
Mhm.
yeah, we've done interview. Yeah, you're right. If you're in government, hell, if you're in the becoming a doctor, working in a hospital, or kind of the high
Oh,
ups, or
sure.
you
Important
can
shit.
get some references right there. Like, yes, he knows how to be a heart surgeon. Great.
Right.
Okay. No, when you're selling shit, no one cares.
Yeah.
Like
No
you
one
get
cares.
the feel in the interview. You're like, okay, this person. And you know what? The most important thing is what your gut tells you. okay, this person's going to show up for work in the next couple months. Let's just do it. That's basically is it. Is this person going to show up for work? Yes. All right, they're fucking hired. But yeah,
God, in the cannabis industry, when I was doing interviews, you know what my like lead off question was? What's your favorite way of getting high? What other industry is that like your first interview question? Like I would honestly be like, "Hey, what's up? Like how you doing?" Yeah, I know, really cool to work in the cannabis industry. And I'd be like, "All right, so like, so let's start off. Like what's your favorite way to consume?" That's like the professional way of saying it.
yeah,
What's your
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
way to consume? And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, man, I fucking rip blunts and I fucking love it." And I'm like, "Wow, go, this is good. These are good points here. I like it. Okay, so you're an avid smoker." And that was 50% of the interview in cannabis. I'm like, "Do you like weed?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I do." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. We're halfway there.
Well,
Uh,
well, it's like
we're
when we did.
halfway there."
But it's like Blockbuster Video. And I know we talked about this a couple times. I'm going to bring up 2 points. One of my favorite questions, because it gets them talking, like, what's your favorite movie? Why should I rent it? At least you get them
Yeah.
talking, stuff like that. And I remember having
Mhm.
this interview with this one guy, older than me at the time, way too qualified. I think he wanted to get into more of the corporate thing, but he was trying to step
Yeah.
in as store manager. And I was like, do you? He actually told me, he's like, yeah, I don't watch a lot of movies. I'm like, why the fuck are you being a store manager for Blockbuster Video when you don't like watching a lot of movies? And I kind of even said, I was
Exactly.
challenging. I was just like, well, what if someone asks you about a certain movie? And he's like, and then he mimics like going to the DVD box and looking and reading. I'm like, oh shit, this guy, no, no. I'm
No,
like, that's not personal. I'm
that's
like
not
this.
it.
But it's like when remember we had me, you, we had that group interview thing. People would come all around the district, and
Yep.
we had the final.
Yep.
I'm like, that was
Yeah.
bullshit. I mean, it was great for us because that was an easy
It's like
day for
American
us.
Idol.
But no, but
Oh, of
that's what I'm saying.
course.
For us, it was easy. But I'm just like, people drove 40, 45 minutes from the store they're going to be working at, where their store manager already hired them, and we could be like, no, this is not a good choice. And
The
that was just
tribunal.
fucking bullshit, man. I'm just like,
I
it's
know.
retail. Like, again, do you want to work? Yeah, okay, you're here. Especially nowadays. Like, hey, just get people to work. But oh my god, yeah, no one really
Well,
looks at resumes too much.
no. Well, it resumes right now they get put through a filter with buzzwords and things like that. A lot of it is done with AI, and just filtering stuff. I know for me, when I'm doing interviews, as recently as a couple weeks ago, I'll get like 15 resumes. I'll load them all up into ChatGPT, and I'll say, ChatGPT, read these resumes for me. Here's the description of the job, and filter
Oh
out
my god.
candidates. Yeah, and it does. And I use it at my work, at my job every day. It's that critical. But there are entire HR departments that don't have the time to go through fucking resumes. It's like scripts and movie scripts, right? Where they always say like no one's going to read more than like 20 pages of the script, so you better make sure you get them in there. If you're writing a spec script, I don't know if that's how it is now, and I can't speak to it, but yeah, everything. It's resumes are kind of like it's the format, it's the buzzwords, and then that is what predicates nowadays whether or not you get a call back. And but in retail it's still different. It's like, are you a person? Do you have a personality? Do you at least like the product that you're selling? Because I would have people come up to me at the dispensary and say, I don't smoke weed, but I want to work here. And I'd be like, it's a no-go, bro. You can't do it. And they'd be like, I don't understand why. And I'm like, because we're selling stuff, and people, like you said, they expect you to be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm sells. And it has repeat customers. Like we had our regulars at Blockbuster that trusted our opinions. And they would come to us and be like, hey, what's good? What's new? Um, because that kind of art form is nice because, yeah, sure, you can go into and kind of go in blind. But if you trust somebody that works there can tell you what's good, it's a lot easier. And so I'd have bud tenders come in all the time, and I'd be like, if you don't like smoking, then you can't really be here because customers are going to come in and they're going to say there's a lot of, especially for people in their 40 to 60-year-old range, who smoked way back in the 80s and 70s and still think that stuff was stronger. Um, there's a lot of anxiety when they come into a dispensary and like there's trap hop playing and there's these 22-year-old kids. And so I wanted to make sure that in our consulting that, that the bud tenders passions kind of came through, sometimes a little bit too much. But that's like a huge thing in retail. It's like, just, you got to like what you're doing there in retail, or otherwise it's going to be obvious to people there that you hate your job, because you have to deal with the public, which is a whole other thing that thankfully I think, well, you're kind of you do still see people every day, but you're not like getting yelled at by them.
This is true. I mean, not every day. There's sometimes something that might happen, and there's a question that might happen.
Or
But here's
dogs.
the thing: the last real resume I had to do. I mean, yes, for the post office, but when I got hired by CVS, I think it was 2015 ish. So 10 years
Yep.
ago, and obviously
Hmm.
my resume was full of management. Basically everywhere I went, I became a manager somehow. Even price
Yes.
market produce manager, I was getting groomed to be assistant manager. I'm like, fuck this. I need something more stable. They're like, hey, we hire from the inside, and they don't. But anyhow, today, so
They
it's been
don't.
10 years. It's been 10 years since I've had to really apply for a retail job because the post office is a
Yeah.
little different of a job application. There is certain things you have to do online. The whatever aptitude test and all that shit. So it's a little
Hmm.
different. And obviously, yes, it's a different job. I don't have to sell shit to anyone. It's not like, hey man, you should buy some stamps. No, people just do it. So all I have to do,
Upsell
all I
stamps.
have to do is give you your fucking package on time, put it where it needs to be. Get me. But the thing is, here's my point: if something were to happen to me at the post office, if my job, they were like, you're fired, whatnot, I could easily just write up a resume and I could be hired as a store man. I would get a calls from Indeed really quick about a store manager
Oh hell
position,
yeah.
even though it's been 10 years since I left CVS in 2019 as a
Hmm.
store manager. I was still there for a year and a half till I figured things out. But yeah, they'd be like,
Damn.
"Oh yeah, you just have that. That's all the resume needs to see. You just said it, buzzwords." I'm like, I'll just pop in. I'll have Soto as one of my references because I don't even
Yeah.
know have anyone. It's not. That I would never go back to CVS. Hell, I don't want to ever go back to retail.
No, dude.
Um,
No, no. I hope you never do. Like that'd be bad.
I mean, if it was a
You know.
quick like Christmas job, holiday, just something extra, whatever, where I don't have to think, that maybe. But that that's a different story. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, no one gives a shit about resumes nowadays for the most part. You like you said, you just like, what am I hiring? All right, this person was a former manager, let's get him in. Oh, this person likes this, let's get him
That's
in.
it.
That's it.
Yeah. I
But
mean, you just get it. You just for me, I take it and I say I just want to have a face to face because the fuck is a resume, right? But you're just trying to get a face to face. Once you meet the person and start talking to them, pretty quickly if you want this person to be like working for you.
Soto, I gotta ask you a question. And I know
Mhm.
you've gone on interviews. So, have you ever
Yeah.
done an interview where
Mhm.
you're not face to face, where you don't even have a human interaction, where it's a
A
computer
human,
interview,
like
and where you're getting interviewed by like a computer?
AI?
Yes, kind of like. Let me tell you where I'm
No.
going with this. So
I
when I
hope.
knew I was done with CVS, and I was kind of
Mhm.
looking, was it before CVS? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I applied for a position at Bank of America. Like I was just trying to
Oh
look away
God.
out, try something new, blah blah blah, and
Sure. Yeah.
and I knew a couple people. So I got an interview and I was like, okay, made the next step. They set it up. You like get on your laptop, blah blah blah. And this is before COVID, so it wasn't like any of that shit. So I'm clear. And I was like, all right, and I do. And basically, all it is, there's no one there. Like the laptop would pop up with a question. They said, when you're ready to record your response, blah blah blah. You have one take if you like it. I hated that so much. I was
Oh my
so out of it
God.
because, like maybe we can talk about being old. Like it's, I like the human interaction. Sell me on you. Sell me on something. I see it. I
Want to
need
see your vibe?
personable.
Hmm.
At least
Yeah.
in that initial thing. And it's like I'm answering questions, and I'm just hating this. Like it was so
Yeah.
dreadful, and because again, you're stuttering and you don't know what to do. Finally, because I went into the other room and I told Jill like, hey, don't come in. I gotta do this. Finally, like I don't even care anymore. Like I literally just was like, fuck it, question. Like I didn't even care. I'm like I buzzed through. I'm like, at least I'm gonna finish this. But it was so stupid. And they're talking about like, do you want to make friends at work? This and that. And I'm like, well, not. I don't need to make friends. I'm here to do my job. But if I get along with people, that's a bonus. So I know my answers weren't
Always.
exactly look. I'm like, but that's reality. I'm like, I don't need to be friendly. Can I work with you? Are you doing your job? Great. I'll do mine. You do yours. Great. Hey, we're going to get along just fine. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Exactly.
Especially at
Yeah.
that kind of job, So yeah,
Yeah.
I had a whole interview where and at the end, I kind of even said, I said, hey, you know what? Thank you. This doesn't kind of work for me. I'm like, hopefully we can talk in person or at least something. But yeah, they got it set up, and all I did was answer questions that popped up on the screen, and I'm like, how is this fucking customer service? What are you gonna learn about me? Because
What kind of people you can hire?
it's nerve wracking as it is going on an interview. Even phone interview, everything like that. You're calm, but when you are really the only person in the interview and you have to answer questions, that's more nerve wracking. I fucking hated it. So screw you,
It
Bank of
tells you, yeah.
America. That should tell you. You want good customer service? Interview your people. I mean, again, I don't even
Oh
remember
no,
the position I
I
went.
think we just lost the sponsor of Bank of America. How could you have done this?
That's all right. Our goal.
Panda Express, we still
That
like
day,
you.
you took the words out of my mind. Our goal is Panda Express. Oh my
Panda
god.
Express, if you're listening,
I mean, Bank of America, you
our
change your
four
ways. You want
listeners.
to? Yes, we're gonna have a special Panda Express episode one day. I know it's gonna happen. Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
and again, I will quote my wife.
You went 30
You
minutes,
drove.
Dasha, to get
She
this.
goes, "You drove far for this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did."
You're like, you don't know. You don't
I
know.
said it. I said I would have it as my last meal, so why don't I have it regularly? Like, if I like it that much. Uh, Oddly enough, I haven't gotten orange chicken like in forever there. I just keep getting the shrimp, so maybe I'll change the pace a little bit and get orange chicken next time
We'll
I'm
do the
there. But
three
yeah,
kind.
Bank of
No,
America.
I will go with you. I will go with you to Panda Express. We will make, and that'll be like our new Unos. We'll just go there, sit there, being in a happy
I
place.
know.
Give me a three
What's
combo
there at
meal.
Uno's now? Is there anything there at the Uno's, or I
Last
haven't turned
time I
down
passed the
that part of DW?
mall, there is nothing
Yeah.
there. It was still just abandoned. It has been a long time since I passed the Pheasant Lane Mall, so I mean, usually I'm only
How is
down the end for like Christmas time, but
how is the Pizza Hut still there? The Pizza Hut by Takumi that's up on DW? Like, how is there a Pizza Hut still there?
because it's pizza.
And they have the pizza buffet back.
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
a sign that said buffet back, and I was like, dude, I've been going to that Pizza Hut since I was in high school. On DW Highway, it's still there. I mean, I guess Uno's is a little bit more like
Well, who knows?
a
I
deep
think
dish is
relied.
not for everybody.
It wasn't. They had all kinds of pizzas. I know deep dish was
It did.
kind of.
It did.
They just said, "Hey, we have this," but you know what? I mean, you look. They had like like an Applebee's menu of just I don't know, and plus drinks. I think COVID basically might have just killed it. Because it was only
Yeah.
like a year or two afterwards, and just it's tough. Because a lot of people just. I think we talked about this with like theaters and we even joked about the party. Just people don't go out like they used to, and maybe we're older. Okay, maybe we've gotten to a point in our lives where, because obviously, I know we've talked about this in our late 20s, 30s. Me and you
Mhm.
got out to drink nightly. But I
Yes.
mean, we've had other people join us here and there. Blah blah blah. We've gone out in groups and karaoke and all that shit. But overall, it's just like I don't know. It's kind of hard, and I'm sure it's still being done. But I just think Uno is just, especially maybe it's just that area. But yeah, because not
Yeah.
everyone goes there for pizza. Because they had other food or drinks and whatnot. Whereas Pizza Hut, they're like, what we have. We're not the best, but we're all right. So people know what they're getting at pizza. And you're right,
Oh,
the
hey, look, I'll
buffets.
fuck with Pizza Hut. I'll fuck with Pizza Hut. I mean, it's got a very specific flavor to it. And I can't eat it all the time,
Oh, we had
obviously, for
Domino's
many
yesterday.
reasons. But Domino's, I have not had since it's been a long time since I've eaten Domino's because we had a Papagino's next to the Bob's that I worked at in Nashua. I don't even know if that Papagino's is still there. It's by the Market Basket. Um, but I very rarely have gotten Domino's because I always felt that with Domino's. I'm not trying to say Domino's, don't sponsor us here, but it's wicked expensive for what it is.
It's cheap.
Like
Here's
it's
the thing.
expensive.
So we binge Squid Game the final season yesterday, and yeah, I'm like,
Yes.
but yeah, no, if you go, especially now with online, yeah, you just do like their 6.99 deals, and it's just quick and
Oh
easy.
yeah, yeah.
Two
I bet there's
toppings,
an easy way to do it.
and yes,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like the best pizza. I feel like it's still better than Pizza Hut, to be honest with you. And it's just a good basic pizza. I know when we were
What
younger.
about local shit? You don't go to local pizza
I
places?
do,
You go to
but and
fucking
sometimes when you're getting a few and you just want cheap, that's why.
and you
Uh,
can't. There's no app for the local pizza place. It's like what I mean. You
well,
gotta fucking call
yeah,
them.
that's true because I can just use coupons, and so Yeah, we just got a couple cheese pizzas, and sometimes I'll just get some chicken or something like that, and yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty much it. No, there is a couple local places, like literally one right by us, Simon's Roast Beef and
But
Pizza.
it's
That we
a thing though. Like,
It is, and it's also
you
three
can just
times as expensive
order
as
it from
Domino's.
Domino's that comes to your house.
Oh
So
no, I pick it up. Like I leave work. That's what I do. I order it and then I go pick it up. And then
oh, okay, so you save money.
yeah, because it's basically on the way. There's, yeah, a place in Nashville. I'm like, okay, well, now that I work in candy, I might, we'll see. But I'm just like, okay, so I'll pick it up and then just, yeah, because I pay for it. It's like, hey, order for Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right here, great. Do you need anything else? Nope. And I leave. No human. That's the littlest of human. I don't have to
Oh, so
tip.
like you like prepay and
Oh
you
yeah.
just pick
Oh
it
yeah. I
up.
prepay most shit. Even yeah. So
I
why
do the same
not?
thing with Panda Express. Like, so Panda Express, I will literally go to the parking lot and I will sit in the parking lot. I'll make my pre-order in the parking lot. It's like done in like 5 minutes. And
Yeah,
then
they're
I
just
get a
scooping
text
that
message
shit
on my
out. They don't
phone.
have to cook shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been there all day. So it's like, I get a text very shortly after and I'm like, oh, it's done. And I walk in there, I grab my shit, and I'm out. I I try not to eat as Chipotle as much as I do. But Chipotle's got that same kind of thing too. I can pay for it, and then they put it on a shelf, and then I just walk in and I grab my shit from the shelf and I walk out. Same thing with fucking. I used to go to Panera Bread. Same thing with Panera Bread. I put an order in online. I'd pay for it. I'd walk in, no eye contact with anybody. I grab my shit off the shelf and I'm out.
Oh
No
my! All right.
questions asked.
I fucking hate Panera Bread now. Let me. I got a story for you, Soto. Since you brought this up, so I'm sitting in American Blockbuster. Yeah, I
Been
love
down there a
them.
bit.
Bagels, something simple. Yes, they're a
Yeah,
little very expensive.
broccoli cheddar soup.
Um, so this one day I was at near the Panera on Amherst Street because I think I had to go to that Target. I said, you know what? I haven't had their because I love their French toast bagel, and they're one of the only places that have this honey walnut cream cheese, which is fucking amazing. And I remember getting
Mm-hmm.
it all the time, and I hadn't eaten there in God knows how long. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna run in and just get myself a bagel. I'm like, that's all I
Mm-hmm.
want. Now, mind you, this might have been a year or two ago. So I go in, and there's no one there. You actually have to order on a fucking screen. I'm like, what the fuck's this? I just want a bagel. So I'm like, whatever, and here
Wait,
I
there's
am.
nobody
Just,
like
I
at the
just
cashier?
talked about. Yeah, no, there's no one at the registers. It's just like
Wow.
order here. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just ordering a bagel, no questions. So I'm pressing it, blah blah blah. Pay for it there. I mean, again, I know I just joked about no human contact, but sometimes when I know what I want and it helps, I don't want to screw up. I'm like, all right, whatever. I get the bagel. They call my name, and I go to my car. So the bagel wasn't even cooked. The bagel wasn't even cut, and the cream. So I don't know if I'm like, did I have to like select a hot bagel? Like if I get a bagel, I want it fucking cooked.
Yeah.
I'm like it's.
Nah, not everybody does. That's a toasted bagel.
But
That's
that's
different.
the more common. There should be an untoasted option. I don't even know how to have. I was so pissed. I mean, I was happy with like cream cheese. So basically, I'm breaking it up. And again, I don't want to deal with any more contact. I'm right pissed. I'm like, fuck it. I'm in my car, so I'm breaking it in little chunks and dipping it in the dip thing. I'm like, no, fuck you,
Hmm.
Panera. I mean, they're overly expensive. I mean, they have some decent things, but I'm just
And they're
like,
kind of bland
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, it's just if it's in a pinch. The only thing that sold Panera to me when I was going there was because I could pay for it, and then I could just walk in and get it. But there's other options. Like, dude, you can even do that at Taco Bell now. Where you
Most
just
fast
like
food
ordered on your
places, yeah.
phone. KFC is the same way too. But on my Taco Bell app, I put in an order, and then I'd go to the drive-through, and I'm like, yeah, pick up order for me. And they're like, "Oh yeah, just come up." And I don't pay shit. They just give it to me through the drive-through window, and I'm gone.
Hmm.
How awesome that is!
It is. What a world we
It's
live in.
that's it. Well, I mean, fucking, for better or for worse, man. COVID changed a lot of ways that we did stuff. Like there was a lot of just different ways of doing things. But to go back to an earlier point about whether or not people go out, I still think people go out to the movies. Um, I think people still like the experience of going out to the movies and like we talked about, being able to choose your seat and
That
walk in
helps.
and watch a movie, like, and then the seats are like mad comfortable. Like I haven't been to the one in Tingsboro in a long time, but that's where I used to go when I was a kid. But I bet that they have stadium seating or not, yeah, or stadium seating, at least seats that recline. Like, when we were younger and to, always talk about how old we are, You go to a movie theater and all the seats are like the same level, and you're just happy with what you got. And if somebody was taller in front of you and it fucked up the screen, well, that's how it's gonna go. But nowadays, it's like, ah, man, like outside of like Chunkies, which brings you your food, that's the only thing that they don't do at the movie theater. But AMC has a fucking bar. Like when I went to go see Ballerina, like AMC has a fucking bar. It's called MacGuffin's, oddly enough. And yeah, like you can literally grab a beer and then take it into the movie theater, which I
Crazy.
prefer because I think that Chunky's is kind of distracting. We saw a movie. I don't remember what. Did we watch Captain Marvel? Is that what
Captain
you and I
Marvel,
watched at
yeah,
Chunky's?
that's the one we watch. But at least they
Um,
bring you pictures of beer to the table, so
yeah, because it's like bring me something that I don't have to keep asking you for because I'm watching a fucking movie. Like at home, if there are interruptions, I have to take a piss or I have to grab something.
you can
I
pause.
I pause it and then I walk away. But in a movie theater, it's like I just want to be. I want to be in the theater. I want to be watching the movie, and I don't want to have any interruptions because you can't pause that shit. And I feel like at Chunky's, it's like you have somebody come around and you're paying for shit and you're whispering during it, and it's kind of whatever. Um, so I kind of like that you could just get a beer and then bring it in, and it's like it's your problem, and you don't have to fuss around too much. But I do think that because I enjoyed Ballerina a lot, I still enjoy going to the movies. I wish I did it more. I mean, $30 for 2 tickets is kind of iffy, and that I got a 20% discount because I went at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, but that's kind of a lot for me for a movie that I'm going to see once.
Mhm.
Maybe because like here, even if I rent a movie now on Amazon, it's like what 4.99.
$4 probably, 4 or 5 bucks,
Um,
yeah.
but I have so many free options. Like I just watched, so I watched Tangerine, and then I watched Death of Stalin. It didn't cost me anything. I may never watch Death of Stalin again. We'll talk about that on Thursday, but or Tangerine, but I didn't cost me anything. So there's so many options nowadays that just kind of preclude it. It's like the only time I'd go to theaters if there's something I really wanted to watch, but then I don't also want to be in a full movie theater.
True, and
Bunch of people,
I
you
always
know.
hate, yeah, because you got to find the old days. You got to find your seats, and if you're with a
Oh my
group,
god.
even if
Oh
it's
my
three or four,
god.
you're like,
Forget it.
okay, is there three or four? And then there's like maybe two seats here, and then two seats in the same row down, and you're trying to ask
Yeah.
people like, listen, can you just move? And some people
Yeah.
will, some
Oh
people
yeah.
are dicks. And I've explained this
Oh my
story
god.
before. There was a time I went to a theater by myself. I've done it a few times way back in the day. I
Hmm.
didn't have a problem with it. I'm like, I'm just gonna enjoy some fucking movies. And I don't even know. I think this I might have seen Fast and Furious. So I don't, that none of that matters. And obviously, like you, when you're a matinee, you do it during the day. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of people in the theater. So I get there, and
No.
there's maybe 4 or 5 people scattered. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I find what I think is a decent middle, up above.
Hmm.
I'm like, I like this seat. Now, again, mind you, there's all these open seats in front of me, all these open seats in
Oh
behind
god.
me. And then I see this
Yeah.
group of 3, 4, probably I was gonna say younger kids, but at the time they're actually the same age as me. So yes, because this was like 20, 25 years ago. And I'm just seeing them come in and whatever, I'm minding my own business. And then I see them start coming down my row. I'm like, all right, whatever. There's
Why?
there's empty rows in front of me. I'm like, whatever. And the lead guy, you would think they would put the filler seat in between us. He
Yes.
sits fucking right next to me.
Who does that?
And then so do I.
Why?
I was so determined. I
Psychopath.
was like, I'm not moving. That's
Of
I mean,
course.
I
At
part
that
of me is
point,
like, do I move one seat? I'm like, no, I got to make a statement. So yeah, basically, I was there. We didn't even talk, but it's like I'm these guys' friend for this movie. I don't know if he felt bad. I didn't. There was nothing even said. But yeah, again,
dude,
if the place was packed and those were like the only 3 seats, I would have got it. Like
of
whatever. You
course.
know, but I'm like, both sides were completely empty. Rows in front of us are like, again, this wasn't like it was, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I was so pissed. But I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm standing
At
my
least give the
ground.
courtesy seat. You
Yes,
know what I mean? Like at least
give
give the
that break.
courtesy
It's
seat.
like when you go to a bathroom stall as a guy. If you can, you got to give that one stall in between. That's just a
Yes.
must. Um,
Yes. Unless you're at Fenway Park and you're pissing in a trough.
well, most
With other
events like
guys.
that, you just take what you can get because they're usually always full. But yeah,
I hate that. I hate it. I'm like, because I can see dicks in my peripheral vision. In that situation, like you're standing shoulder to shoulder with 8 fucking other dudes pissing into a trough where it's like you can feel the steam coming off of that. This is the Fenway Park experience, by the way. I mean, there's dicks in my periph, man. Like that's just a very uncomfortable way of doing it. But you got to give people some fucking space, dude. I don't know why you do it. I mean, sure, okay, I get it. You also like the middle seats. The middle seats are the best because I like to pretend like I'm just watching a really big screen in my house. But leave a courtesy seat. What the fuck? Who the fuck does that? I don't know. Do you remember Premiere 8?
Yes.
In Nashua? Did you ever go to Premiere 8?
Yes.
Okay. It's an old Nashua memory.
That's by the that used to be by the PC Connection, which I actually almost worked there as well. Premiere 8. I also remember the Brant that was on Main Street in Nashua. They used to they were like $1.50 tickets. They usually only had 2 or 3 movies after they've been a month old. But yeah, there's a Brant that used to be right there. My go-to when a long time ago was the Premiere 8. We used to go there all the time.
Dude, used to go there constantly. That and like I always thought that the Tingsboro one was like the fancier one.
I never liked that. I never was a fan of that. Premiere 8. Because there was one at the National Mall too. To me, that was the Premiere 8 out of the Nashville ones was always the best one.
The Nashville Mall had like 6 theaters. I saw Stargate there.
4.
That's the one that you're talking about.
If I remember,
yeah, it was really small. But it was fucking. Stargate was great there. There's a casino there now. It used to be Bugaboo Creek.
Correct.
The casino. Somehow Shorty's is still there, by the way. I don't know how you remember Exit 6, but like Shorty's Mexican restaurant is still there.
Yep. And I think that
Halua is still there.
I think that Halua is still there. I think it is. A lot of seconds ago. But I know I mentioned this, I think the last time we talked, like I saw Spaceballs at the National Mall. I saw my first James Bond film there. I've seen so many friggin' movies there.
The National Mall's still there? Like I've never
gone. Yeah. Halua's still open. Halua's still there. I pass it every now and then.
How?
Because, people go there. And I remember
Louis.
First of all, well, no. Louis that's on the other end. That's on the south end. That's a Southie thing.
The DW Highway, yes.
But Soto, I remember when I was a kid in the 80s when the National Mall was actually a mall.
Yeah.
Where you go inside.
I remember it was a mall.
Yeah.
I remember it was a mall too. You walk in, it was like a straight shot. It was
an eye shape. You had Bradley's.
Yeah.
I think maybe more. And then they had like the little arcade. Me and my sisters, they had a Fanny Farmers in there. We used to always get fudge. Like, there's an old video on YouTube that shows a little bit of the National Mall. I blew Keely's mind. I'm like, yeah, no, it was a mall.
Saying it's not like that anymore? Like, is what you're saying?
No. Everything, every store is standalone. It's not a mall. I don't know what. I remember Child's World, which is the bigger than friggin' Toys R Us, but that's where I used to get my video games. It was just a huge toy store. No.
It was a shitty fucking comparison though to Pheasant Mall at the time. It was.
Well, yeah, but it was just a nice little hangout area. It wasn't that bad.
Oh yeah,
it's been 35 years since I don't know officially when it stopped becoming a mall. Because I think when I left when I was 15, it still was technically a mall. I could be wrong.
Because you have like Burlington Coat Factory over there.
Yep, that's still there. The Christmas tree shop closed down a couple of years ago. Now Home Depot is where like Children's World is. But yeah, Halua is still there. Shorty's is still there. And you're right, Bugaboo. Well, the casino now where Bugaboo Creek.
It's a casino, yeah. Lots of casinos in New Hampshire now.
Well, now that it's become legal, yeah. I've looked at the Gate City. I haven't had a chance to check out the Nash yet. I am curious. My daughter's gone drinking there a couple times. She says it's actually quite nice for what it is, because obviously it's like 2 floors. So we might have to check it out.
Yeah, with like all sorts of restaurants and shit there.
Restaurants,
I wouldn't mind.
Sports books. I mean, even just the good thing is, hang out. Even if we're like, this is stupid, we can leave. It's not like if you take a trip to a different, like you're going to Foxwoods, you're not in the mood to, it's like, not like if you're not in the mood to gamble, not much else to go to. So,
right, yeah.
No, we'll have to do a trip one weekend when I'm off. We will go get Panda Express and we'll check out the Nash.
We'll do like a trip of Nashua. There's a hot pot place in Nashua too now, right across from Panda. I don't know how good they are, but I guess if I had to guess, probably where the IHOP used to be. I don't even know if that IHOP is still there.
No, they closed down.
But there's a hot pot place there that has piqued my interest. There's just so much new shit, not only on DW Highway, But like Amherst Street has so much shit in it. Like I know it has a 28 fucking thousand lights on Amherst Street, but Amherst Street itself, 101, like, or 101A or whatever the fuck it is, like that has expanded dramatically. And I'm pretty sure it still has that Applebee's there, as we've discussed as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
There's just no Ground Round, although Ground Round is coming back in
Oh
other
my
places, but
God. I forgot about the
there's
ground
no
round.
Ground Round. Yeah, it was right
Yeah.
across from that Applebee's little thing, but Ground Round's making a comeback. It's in like Shrewsbury or some shit. And so, because people wanted the Ground Round to come back for some fuck reason, nostalgia, I guess. But yeah, that little plaza, everything. It's like every time I drive by that area, I'm like, my God, Nashua has changed so dramatically in the last like 30 years, as far as just the amount of stores and things you can buy there and all that.
I remember used to riding my bike down Main Street, and again '80s, and my mom worked at a bank there. Pop in and be borrow some money and go to like either Janot's or Kirkpatrick's, and yeah, no, Nashville's
Yeah.
changed a lot. Obviously, so.
Five
Uh,
Star Pizza, I think, is still there, or 7 Star
yes,
Pizza.
yes, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. Five or whichever star pizza. That
yeah,
pizza
it's
place
there.
is still there. Um,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of
Or learn to
places in
drive.
Nashville that's been there a long time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but so do
I'll do a
I.
Nashua episode.
I gotta ask you something. We're gonna change gears here because we looking at this thumbnail, and I know I jokingly
Yeah.
told you like me and Jill binge Squid Games. Don't worry, no spoilers
Yes.
for anyone that's not listening because we know you're not listening. But
I don't even remember the first season.
you don't really need. You need to see the second season. Technically, it was supposed to be one long season two, but they called it season 2 and 3. Not that that matters. It's over. There's no more seasons. That's what I like about some foreign shows. They just do like 3 seasons and are done. That's why I love the BBC. But then I asked you a question, and you made a joke that you still have to finish Cobra Kai.
I
And
do, yeah.
the sad part is, why? So why haven't you got to Cobra Kai? Because here's why. It's not that you need to finish season 6. You've seen part 1 and part 2 to season 6 because they
Yeah, I have.
divided it into 5 episodes, 3 parts. So it's not like
Yeah,
you watch the season like in Squid Game, and you're like, yeah, not for me, whatever, which is fine.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
been a lot of shows where I've tried and I can't get into for some reason, and I just give up. But so do you've seen
yeah.
5 2/3 seasons of Cobra Kai. We've done podcasts, we've done discussions, we've done talks. You
I
have
know,
five
I know.
episodes left just to finish this.
Yeah,
It's not like this is season 7. It is over. And yet you still
yeah.
haven't gotten around to it. And it doesn't even seem
No,
like it's on your
no.
docket.
It's
What?
not on my docket at all. And I've like, I just watched something on Netflix about, the Carnival Cruise where everybody was shitting everywhere. Uh, that could have easily been 2 episodes of Cobra Kai, but I just didn't do it. And it's like I'll watch like Castlevania, I think, on Netflix.
I
But
need
now
to see
that one's
that.
like in limbo for me. Like I haven't like finished, I haven't gone all the way. It's just I don't know, like it's because I know that once I start Cobra Kai, um, it's like a binge, and I'm gonna lose an afternoon. So it's like when I'm always complaining about movies that are 2.5 hours long, and I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. But then I'll be on TikTok for 2.5 hours. Like I totally had time for that. So I'll have it in my mind of being like, oh God, if I start Cobra Kai right now, it's like I'm gonna have to watch all 5 episodes. Do I really have that in me?
But you do. You've
You know,
gone so far. We've
gee,
talked about all these
I
returning characters,
know.
all these story arcs, how they mix the new and the old. And yeah, so you, like I said, you're
Yeah,
literally at the finish line. You're at the final lap. It's not like you took 5 steps and like, not for me. Okay, fine. That'd been fine. Like if you watched
yeah,
the first season, you're like, not for me. Whatever. So
yeah.
no,
A lot of
you
commitment.
ran this track, a 6 lap track. You ran it 5 times, and you're on the
Yeah.
last third. You're on like the
And
straightaway,
I'm like, I
and
don't
that's
have
all you got
time.
to
So I'm
do.
like, I don't know. Like, so I'm like, how invested am I in the ending, right? It's like, and same thing with games. I'm just like, oh God, like, no, I'm good. I'll stop here. Like, Baldur's Gate 3. That's a game that I bought and I paid full price for. Great game. Hard because it's a different type of RPG. Um, it's not like along the veins of tactics, but it's one of those ones where it's not just like, okay, you do something, I do something, like turn based, which I like. It's probably why I'm going to buy the Claire Obscure game at some point. We'll see before I play Final Fantasy. I don't know, but Baldur's Gate, I'd gotten through 2 acts of Baldur's Gate, and I finally got to the town of Baldur's Gate, the city of Baldur's Gate, which is like where the final, like, the most of the game is. You're in a city, it opens up the game, and you can do everything. And you're like, okay, now the game's opened up. Now I can really get into, like, some of the stuff. Dropped it. I was too overwhelmed. I was like, no, there's too much going on here. Like, there was a quest on every single corner of the street. Everybody was talking to me, and like, and Baldur's Gate is one of those things where it's like there are no do-overs. You make a decision, and if your decision ends with an elf being shot across the fucking galaxy, like off a windmill, and they die, like, then that's it. You lose that quest, and then it's whatever. It's like you make your own game. So I just was overwhelmed with choice and finality, and I just stopped playing it. Cobra Kai is fine. It's fine of a show. I just haven't gotten, like, there hasn't been that juice for me to finish it, and sometimes I'm like that. Sarah says it's like a pleasure delay thing with games where I'm just like, no, no, no. If I don't end it, then it'll always kind of be hanging over, and I won't have to finally say goodbye to that game. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I do. I think also when you're binging something, and if your wife wants to do it, that's a big factor in you finishing it. And I just don't think that her and I have been like, oh yeah, let's watch Cobra Kai, because she's like, oh, let's watch the new Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. And I'm like, we haven't seen
Cobra Kai. I don't think you need to see Cobra Kai to understand what happens in Karate Kid Legends.
Right, but like, why would you skip it? Like,
because there's no connection. There's no connection.
But it just makes sense to, from a continuity standpoint, just fucking watch the rest of Cobra Kai and then have it be done. And you said it ends, and it ends the show, and so I should do that. But I really just don't. I mean, fuck, dude. I don't know. There's something about finishing stuff that just kind of like, if I know I'm at the finish line, my brain immediately gets paralyzed, and I lose like the want or desire to finish it. I'm gonna try to get better at that. I played like RoboCop halfway through and dropped that. Assassin's Creed, which we talked about, 60 plus hours in Assassin's Creed.
So here's the difference.
I have no interest.
If I remember correctly, RoboCop you didn't pay for. I mean, yes, you paid for the subscription, but you paid for Assassin's Creed, correct?
Yeah. Full price.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, because that's the thing, people talk about their backlog, and when they talk about games they had on Xbox Pass or PlayStation Plus, like that kind of doesn't count. Because the good thing about that is you can start a game. Like, I've started plenty of games and I just couldn't get into. That's fine. But I paid, like you, like Days Gone. I know we've talked about this to end. Like, I started Days Gone twice, and it's zombies, it's shooting. I should love it, and for some reason, both times I'm like, I just couldn't do it. So I don't know. There's not many. I was trying to think of games I paid for that I couldn't finish or didn't want to finish. And Days Gone's really the only thing I can think of. Because most of the time when I pay for something, I'm like, I don't care. I fucking hate this game. I don't think I paid for Enchanted.
Well, see, that's what I don't want to do. Like, so, with Assassin's Creed, it's like, I don't want to play this because I just paid for it. Like, if it's not doing it for me, then I'll just go, okay, you know what? I paid for it. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm not going to justify this to me. I'm not having a good time. I'm not saying that the gameplay loop is unfun for Assassin's Creed, but it just gets monotonous for a 60-hour game. It's just like, okay, do this, sneak in this castle, like, and it takes me forever to sneak because I suck at fucking stealth.
Oh yeah,
and so favorite. I'm just like, dude, I'm fucking over it, and I'm not gonna beat it. I'm not gonna do things that I'm not having fun with for the sake of I paid for it, because it just becomes like a fucking job. Like, I fucked up. I bought a game because I wanted to play it. That's not the fucked up part. I bought a game because I wanted to play it. I played it for 60 hours. Which, I mean, if we go by the rule that we've talked about too, where it's like, you should play however a game costs, right? So if it's like a game is $70, then you should be able to play that game for 70 hours, right? It's like $1 an hour kind of a vibe. Same thing with like a $20 game. It's like you want to make sure you get your money's worth. For Assassin's Creed, I played it for 60 hours. It didn't grab me after 60 hours. That's not my fault. I played it for 60 hours. I almost got my money's worth, but there are other games like that I want to play, like Clair Obscure. I might pay for it, but then I'm also going to go with the mentality that I might just start trying shit out in my backlog and seeing if something grabs me. Um, because with any TV show or any video game or anything that I'm doing now, I just it's my free time. I don't want to have more work on my free time. I want to enjoy shit on my free time. And there are some games that I'll just get absolutely obsessed with. I haven't found one recently. But that's the kind of feeling that I think you should have with a game. Like you really wanted to play Lunar. You played it.
Yeah, I
You
beat
had
the
a
first
nostalgic
one.
button for it,
Still going through the second one,
and
but yeah.
but you were motivated to do it. Like as you're playing it, you're like, I'm actively having fun while I'm playing this. Like that's what I want to have with games. One of the reasons I played Disco Elysium so much, I'm doing another playthrough right now, is that like it makes me fucking laugh. So like every decision I make, or it's like if I do something stupid, like I will fucking laugh, and that is making me have fun. So I don't want to media and everything like that. If I'm not having a good time, I'm not gonna like slog through stuff like to because it's gonna get good after 20 episodes or some shit, which I've done with some anime, like specifically where I'm like, oh, I heard this anime gets good after 30 episodes. Why the fuck am I doing that to myself? Like watching 30 episodes of something that I can't stand just for the slight chance that it might get good later. I don't want to be like that anymore. So I might just delete Assassin's Creed right after this conversation, free up 100 freaking gigabytes. Because that's another thing. Games take up your fucking gigabytes. It's a whole other episode. Um, but yeah, free up 100 gigabytes and actually try to play something that I enjoy. Sometimes I just want to walk around and put tickets on people's cars. And that gives
Just want
me
to do a
great
job.
joy to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
sometimes I just want to turn something on and I don't want to feel like it's life or death. Um, I just want to do it, which I've been thinking about restarting Baldur's Gate. Um, because I want to have like a crafted character, and I want to do a run where it's like no matter what mistakes I make or what happens, that's just going to be the story. Because it's like you roll the dice, you actually see the dice rolling because it's basically D&D. And maybe I'll do that. I don't know, but I want to have fun. Playing games and watching TV shows, and if I can when I'm watching a movie. I mean, I know recently with things like Slaw, it hasn't been fun, but I'd like to have more fun.
That's why you chose Minecraft movie to be our 100th movie. Is that gonna be fun?
Yeah.
Just checking, just checking, just checking.
I mean, I like Jack Black. I mean, I Jack Black makes me laugh. I don't understand anything about Minecraft really. I think it's a video game where you have to build things or something like that, and at night these kind of
Well,
weird zombie things come out. I don't know. I don't play it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a Minecraft aficionado. I'm not. It's just not my vibe.
I think Minecraft goes in the way of Fortnite, where the original concept not a lot of people do anymore. Because Minecraft's you can just have an open box and build whatever you want and not do any of the game. Like you can, like me, you can, if it was free, you can create a world. I mean, you can be in the same world. You have your area, I have my area. Maybe we do some missions. But you're right. The
Oh,
initial
okay.
concept was similar to, if people remember Fortnite, the original concept of Fortnite was the same as Minecraft. You build a defense, hence the building, and you just defend against, the zombies or when that
Yes.
comes. The problem was
Hmm.
they put in a free battle royale because they were trying to fix everything else before this game went
Hmm.
live, and that took off so much, and that's why it's free. If they ever technically finish the game, they can't give it away for free. Hence why it's always in. If you see their original, the zombie defense always says beta. But same thing with Minecraft. You're right. The initial thing is, yeah, you have your area, you create a defense, and just you know defend it. But you can just go in, like, hey, I'm gonna make this house look like an Assassin's Creed house. You can build however you want, and then you can invite
Yeah.
me to your you know place or
My
your
world.
area, and just we look like, oh, look at that. Let me. And that's it. It's but yeah, I that's as far as I know. I felt like it's always a game I don't have time for, because it's
Yeah.
building. Um, I don't know. I know some people play it, they love it, but yes, I know that movie's on our docket. I still have to watch something else, but we'll see. We'll see. You're right. Jack Black is funny as shit, so we'll see how it goes. So
I mean, he's usually funny, like, and how bad could it be? I doubt it's going to be 2 hours long. I mean, it's on, like I said, it's on Max, so you feel free to watch it when you can. I've watched my 2 movies this week, but Minecraft is going to be my third. Um, I might add another one. It's getting easier for me to add movies. Um, I'm getting more used to it. So us doing this challenge has actually made it a lot easier for me to hit play because it's like a habit now.
yeah,
So it's like if I'm like, oh, I got some time to kill. I'm like, what can I do? I'm like, oh, let me watch a movie, which I wasn't doing for the last 15 years. I wasn't just
same.
looking for a movie to watch, and now I'm like, oh, it's 90 minutes.
You're like, oh,
I got 90 minutes.
well, that's how I ended up watching the Mandela Effect. It was like, I'm like, I had time. I mean, even when it was 8 o'clock at night, I'm like, I don't know what to do. It
I
popped
got
up. I'm like,
time.
hey, that's an
Yeah.
hour 20. I'm like, perfect.
Mhm.
Like, I'll just hit play, and I was vastly disappointed. No, no, I have another movie in mind outside of Minecraft movie. We'll see. Hopefully, I get more than two, but you don't have to. Like I said, as long as Minecraft's your third, we're gonna make that our 100th movie, regardless. Um,
Yeah. I'll probably watch. I mean, I've never gotten around to watching something like Zero Dark 30, which is like 2.5 hours long. I don't know. Maybe. There's always possibility when you just hit, but when these things are fucking free, I try to jump on them like I talked about because you just don't know
mhm.
when they're going to come back around. Like the movie I just saw today, The Death of Stalin. Um, I was trying to see that movie like last year, and it just kept coming free, and I never had time. And then I saw it around, and now of course it goes to our favorite streaming platform, Tubi.
Doobie.
And Tubi, dude, it's amazing how many movies are on Tubi. You can find if you're bored, just go on Tubi. Shit. If you fucking don't even have cable and you just have like the internet and you want some TV to just play mindlessly in the background, just turn on Pluto. Pluto even has fucking movies on it too. YouTube has fucking free movies. Max, Amazon Prime. I don't really fuck with Paramount to be quite honest with you, but I mean, I haven't even tried Peacock. Peacock, I just watched. I'm watching SummerSlam on there, which I fell asleep watching SummerSlam 1990 the other day. So I may have missed some matches, but there's so many fucking streaming platforms for us to watch a movie that you can find anything that's 90 minutes. Fuck, even Hulu. I saw Honora on Hulu. I saw Complete Unknown on Hulu. Um, and then Hulu stuff it plays also on Disney because I also want to see that
Well,
Predator movie, that
that's if you
animated
have
one.
that
So,
package. If you just have Disney, it doesn't. You have to still pay for
oh
Hulu.
no, I got the Hulu one. I've had Hulu for a long time though. And another show that I've never finished, The Bear. I saw 2 seasons. I really liked it, and then I saw the first episode of the third season, and then never went back to it. And it's like on its fourth season now. I'm like, I gotta stop doing this shit.
We
Because I
finished
lose
up it.
interest, man. It's like if you don't got me, like my brain runs on low dopamine. So for me, as somebody with dopamine issues, newness is a big thing that I like. And if I lose interest, then that's it. Like Stranger Things, it'll come out in November, and I think it's gonna come out in 3 parts. I will watch Stranger Things because I love Stranger Things. And then I think the parts are all coming out like on holidays, from my understanding, so that it gives people the chance to be like, "Oh, it's a holiday weekend. I'm gonna binge Stranger Things." Um, but I don't know. You got to hook me in
Oh God, you're
if I'm
right.
gonna
I'm just looking
rewatch
at it
it.
now. Yeah, November 26th, which I'm going to assume is Thanksgiving, and Christmas Day. Like,
And so that's what you're doing on Christmas Day, because that's what I'm doing on Christmas Day. Like if once I come back from dinner and shit like that, I'm gonna be like, "All right, let's fucking do Stranger Things." And Stranger Things is a show that we don't stop. We keep it going until it's like we just immediately erase like seasons of Stranger Things.
yeah, I can't wait. I didn't realize they were doing that holiday thing. Shit.
And Sarah's gonna do a rewatch of Stranger Things, I'm sure soon.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to get that
So she'll
started because
always
you got to
yeah.
get you got to do what 4 seasons because this is the fifth and final.
She'll do it, dude. She will fucking just pound through
Well,
Stranger Things. She loves Stranger
well,
Things.
that's what happened with
So
Squid Game because when Squid Game first came out, I didn't think Jill would be interested. So I just watched the first season. I was like, all right, this is pretty
mhm,
good. And I think when they're
mhm,
announcing season two, she's like, hey, I want to see this. And I'm like, I told her I saw it. So I watched the first season with her again.
mhm,
And then we watched the second season together. And then, so
mhm.
before this final season came out, season three, she's like, you want to binge it? I said, listen, I'm good. Like a lot of it was still in my memory. I said, you watch it. And if I'm here, I'll watch it with you. So yeah, I caught like the second half of the first season and then most of the second season. She saw the first few episodes, but the second season was a
Oh
good
yeah.
refresher. And I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, for season three. It's still new, but
No.
it was good. If you like the first two seasons, yeah, you need the finale, especially because season two is like The Empire Strikes Back. They filmed season two and three back to back, so it's not like some more time has passed.
Ah.
So season two ends, but there's still a lot of questions going on. So it's not like for you, season one ended. Like if no other seasons were made, that's it. That's fine. Like there was
That's why I stopped. That's why I was like, I'm good. I don't need to know anymore. It ended in a way that I was like, okay,
yeah, he doesn't
that
get
was
on the
cool.
plane. He's like, I'm coming. I whatever. And
It's like, why would he want to go back? I mean, I know that there's bigger picture stuff. I get it, but I was like, I don't want to go back. That was a stressful show to watch. I know that you love watching
yeah,
these shows and movies where people are in duress and trying to make life or death fucking decisions on really stupid contraptions. It reminds me of another movie. Um, but I thought the first season was done very well. Do not get me wrong. Um, when now it's like when something ends, like a season.
I think I just
I'm gonna
lost you
fucking
there.
forget that shit in two
Oh,
years.
there you go.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not gonna remember shit from in 2 years. Like, I'm gonna have to rewatch it and stuff like that. It's like 2 years. You might as well fucking just say 10 years. 2 years is too fucking long.
Well, that's
It's
why
just too
it's nice
fucking
to do
long.
the recap. But the good thing is, like I said, even if you ever saw season two, it's not like you really need to see season one. Obviously, a few characters return. Obviously, you kind of know that 4, 5, 6. He's going back to games. Why? You got to figure out. But anyhow, yeah, no, I just laughed because yeah, she
Yeah.
binged it. But yeah, if you're gonna binge Stranger Things, you might have to do it soon because by the time that comes out, it's a lot of
Well,
seasons.
it'll be the same thing where Sarah will be watching it. I'll come home during parts, and I'll like be on my phone during other parts. So it's like I'll catch up on the things I need to be reminded on, um, and get ready. I mean, I usually like watching just the last season that happened, just so I could be like, okay, cool. But Sarah really, she's gonna watch it from the very beginning, to get herself hyped up for it. And I think I've seen it from the beginning quite a few times. Every time a new one comes out. And this last season I really liked a lot. So I'm excited to see how it ends. And we'll talk about it because it's
We'll
been
both
a
be
it's
seeing
been
it.
a
Yeah.
topic that we've had. It's like,
Well, so is Cobra
how does
Kai.
it end? Like how
So
did right, but it's like, how does it stick the landing? With Stranger Things, a lot of it has been built up. So how is it going to stick the landing? Is it going to be divisive? Is it going to be dumb? Is it going to be underwhelming? And in the majority of my life, Chad, these endings tend to be underwhelming.
it's tough. It's tough to
You
stick
know,
an ending in these kind of
although
shows.
people are trying to say on TikTok now that the Lost ending is actually really good, and I'm like,
No, no, they're wrong.
I'll rewatch. They're like, no, you didn't understand the real ending, man. I'm like, I did at the time. It wasn't entertaining. I'll tell you right now, Battlestar Galactica, which is a show I fucking loved. Battlestar Galactica had one of the worst endings of a TV show I've ever seen. To the point where I'll never see Battlestar Galactica again because
That's a
why would I?
show that I've tried 2 or 3 times on the start, and I just couldn't get into it.
It
I
was
wanted to love it.
so
Don't get me
good,
wrong.
dude.
And then it's just other things had happened, and then it's like, oh, then I think I'm like, let me restart it, and then something happens, and I don't get around to it. Then
No,
finally, I'm
the,
like,
the
fuck
end
it.
is terrible. It's not worth it. The end is that bad. I would rewatch Lost, um, for nostalgia reasons and see if I can kind of see how it sets up because I haven't given it a rewatch since I've known the ending. And sometimes I can make things better. It really can. I would rewatch Lost though before I would rewatch Battlestar Galactica because Battlestar Galactica, I know how it ends, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, and I would be so disappointed to have to do a rewatch of that. So, but another thing that I'm watching, if you haven't watched it, I don't know how you feel about cartoons, but um, I'm watching Invincible, and I really like it.
That's the one from
And it's on
Robert
Amazon
Kirkman,
Prime.
right?
Yes, and it. I mean, it's a little bit, it's kind of corny, like in parts, but all comic stuff is corny.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
you have to, kind of put your mindset in that you're not going to see anything fucking high art, really. But I enjoyed it. I'll probably watch. They're like hour-long episodes, so I'll probably watch that. Fuck, I gotta watch The Boys. I dropped The Boys too. Boys, I was like loving it, and I was on a roll, and then I just dropped The Boys. And The Boys is good, man. It's fucking funny.
I know. I've yet to even try. I've heard things. Obviously, it's just I haven't started.
Movies, man. That's our focus on right now.
Yeah, this 200
Right now
movie
we're just
challenge.
trying to get into the movie thing. It's like I'm
We're
trying to
halfway there.
regularly watch new movies. Um,
While
like
doing
I
these
said earlier too.
podcasts, while getting ready for sports,
I know. Oh my god, I know because it's
while still
fucking
watching
June,
Keeping Up with
basically
Wrestling.
July. So we're like
Yeah,
a month out from like pre-games in August
yeah, pretty much.
already for the pre-game season for NFL, which we're both going to be very invested in this next season to see what our teams do. So it's going to be a very critical year for both of our franchises.
Yeah, no, second year QBs and see how they
Yeah,
handle their
like
shit.
a
And
mirror image. New coaches on both sides.
yep,
New head coaches, fan base that is tired of this shit.
one fan base is
They're not
kind of
going
used to
against each
this
other next
shit.
year. They're not going against each other next year, though, right?
No, 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 no. I think they went against each other.
No.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I could talks among yourselves. Hold on a sec.
I know, yeah.
2025. I gotta check on Night of Champions that just ended. Check out the results there soon too. All right.
Oh, tell me the results now. Do it live.
I will. I just haven't had a chance yet. Hold on. Bears. So, um, Vikings, Lions, Cowboys, Raiders, Commanders, Saints, Ravens, Bengals, Giants, Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns, Packers, Niners, Lions. Nope. So it must have been
Oh, you're
last year.
playing the AFC Central or AFC South or some shit.
Yeah, but
Like the
now
Bengals and the Ravens division.
because of the 17 game schedule, they play one extra
Mhm,
team in the AFC or NFC if you the opposite time. So it's a different
mhm.
division, and kind of like they do with the NFC, whatever place they're in. So it's like that's why the Bears played the Pats last year because they're both fourth place the year before, and they happened. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
oh wait, no, yeah. Pats and they played each other last year. So the Bears, correct? They played the Chiefs. Oh wait, that's preseason. So yeah, Raiders division. So all that team, but then the
Raiders. That's going to be an interesting team.
yeah, well maybe. All right. So hold on. You talked about Night of Champions. Give me one
Yeah.
second. 2025 results.
No, Rhea Ripley won because
Oh
I saw
yeah,
something in
I
TikTok.
saw the first two matches, or not saw it. I just saw the results.
Mhm.
No, I don't want to subscribe. Just let me see the results. Or no. Okay.
Should be like, I am a real American.
Fight
For what's right. I for your life. Burr, 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 burr.
All right, so here we go.
Oh
Here we
God,
go. So it's weird because I loved the original concept of Night of Champions, and that was, and I think we talked about every title's on the line. So this is good for smaller titles, got everyone on the card, but every match, that's it.
mid
Every
card
match
titles.
was,
Yeah.
but it was just every match was a title match. That was it. There was no extra matches. And now they added, and I know this is a Saudi Arabia show, but they added the King of the Ring. I'm like, make this its own shit. But anyhow, so the King of the Ring
You did,
finals.
yeah.
First match was
Yep.
Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. As expected,
Oh,
Cody Rhodes
wow.
won. So Cody Rhodes.
Really?
Oh yeah, because the winner gets a shot at the championship at SummerSlam. So Cody Rhodes is facing Cena.
Okay.
Like this is just everyone could see this
Oh my
happening.
God.
Um,
Okay. Yep.
Rhea Ripley beat Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. Liv Morgan
Yep, she
got
did.
injured
Oh,
because they
that.
were supposed to defend the tag titles. So they went this
Hmm.
route. It's actually the first time Ripley has beaten Rodriguez. In NXT, I guess Rodriguez beat her up a lot. Beat one match, is not beat her
Hmm.
up. Sami Zayn beat Karrion Cross. Not really a big match, but
Oh,
Karrion Cross finally got
wow.
a match on a pay-per-view. This is the
Yep.
shocker. Solo Sikoa beat Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. So I don't know what happens.
Really?
Yes.
I like Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, no. Fatu came
They
out
put
to help
Solo
Jimmy's.
Sikoa over him.
It
Ah.
makes more sense. Put Fatu because he's now more of a crowd favorite. He's a face. It's better when they're in chase mode. And Solo Sikoa kind of needs
Uh,
this. But the Queen of the Ring. Oh,
yep.
Asuka beat. Oh wait, the other way around. It's weird because I'm reading it real quick and it said Asuka won, but no, it says Jade Cargill beat Asuka. So it's
Yeah,
Jade
Jade
Cargill.
Cargill is sick.
So yeah, so she's gonna win the championship and Naomi's gonna cash in. And then
Hmm.
John Cena beat CM Punk because Seth Rollins and his lackeys beat up Punk. So, which obviously we need shenanigans, and Cena was not going to lose here.
Yeah, so that I was wondering why the CM Punk Seth Rollins thing took a break for him to all of a sudden go against John Cena.
Well, because it's Cena's last year, and they wanted to do Cena. They have to do Cena Punk one time. Like they have to do Cena and Orton. Like he's going through a lot of the hits. Like this was they were each other's biggest rivals. So
Okay.
this is a match they had to do, but it's like Punk wasn't going to beat him, and now at SummerSlam
Yep.
because it's going to be the rematch of WrestleMania Rhodes and Cena. I think that's why
And
they
who
had.
wins?
You know what? I will say this: I don't think Cena is going to make it to the end of the year because I know that's his whole ordeal right now. He's actually getting cheered. Um, so he might turn facing. But the big, again, rumor is Cody Rhodes might turn heel.
Cody Rhodes might turn
Beats.
heel. Will everybody say whoa when he comes out and all that stuff if he's heel?
Probably because a lot of people just like him
Sing along with
regardless.
his
Just
theme
like people
song?
sing along with Cena's song, and it doesn't matter. They sing along to Seth
Yeah.
Rollins' song, and
They
he's a
do.
heel.
They
So,
do. They really do.
especially in other countries. So, yeah,
I like
quick
Seth
result.
Rollins. He's good. Good
Oh, he's
heel.
a good wrestler. So, but yeah, that was the quick
Good
night of
heel, good
champions.
wrestler. Yeah.
So the next
That was
pay per
it?
view, that was it. That was it because
Like 2 hours?
2 3 hours. It must have been three
Oh.
hours, but it was supposed to be Dom
When's
Mysterio.
this Goldberg fight happening? Like, what the fuck is
The
that?
next Saturday night main event, whenever that is
Oh
in
god,
July.
dude, he can't even walk, man. He's fucking.
It's his last
He
match.
looks terrible. It looks
Oh god,
awful. They're not gonna make him win, are they? I've
no,
never liked
but
Goldberg, dude. I never liked him even when
no,
he was his prime.
but
I never liked Goldberg.
the last time this kind of happened against the champion, no one thought Goldberg would win, and they gave him the title. But
Oh god, dude, that would be
this is 100%.
stupid.
Goldberg's already said this is his retirement match, last match, regardless.
He can't even walk. How is he
Neither,
gonna fucking do any wrestling?
I don't know.
Oh god, this is gonna be a fucking train wreck, dude.
But before that, we have
Who
Evolution,
cares
which is the
what?
all women's pay per view. So it's
Oh
going to be
wow.
all women's matches. So
And when is
obviously,
that?
give me 1 second and I'll give you the time. But that should be the next one in a few weeks.
Oh. So Saturday Night Main Event is not happening?
It's the one
in a
after
few
that because that's not a pay per view. That's just a special event, and then SummerSlam will be after that.
Yes, I think I'll be able to watch night 1 of SummerSlam, and then night 2 I will be delayed slightly. I'll be in Boston that night on the 4th, I want to say, or the 3rd.
I don't even know the date.
But I'll watch it. I don't know. I mean, I'll check. I mean, I wasn't really impressed with the last John Cena Cody Rhodes fucking showdown. That shit was
but things have got
quite a letdown and terrible to watch.
Yeah.
So
Dates. There we go. Sunday, July. Oh, so I'm wrong. So it looks like, if I remember correctly, Saturday Night Main Event was the 12th, Evolution's the 13th, and then SummerSlam's August 2nd. So yeah. So obviously they'll have like the men's stuff on the that, but yeah. So Sunday, July 13th is the next pay per view, or excuse me, premium live event, Evolution. But that'll be all women's matches. They've done it once back in 2018. Nice. So yeah, Stephanie McCur, Naomi, Jade,
Liv
Morgan probably still injured. That kind of was, but we'll see. It should be a good card. A lot of better women's wrestlers than back in the 90s and 2000s.
Oh,
So,
dude, it's way better. And at some Saturday, I'm sure we'll talk about how I think that the WNBA right now is like way more interesting to watch than the NBA because WNBA, like the women play a way more
oh,
interesting
Sophie
physical brand of
Cunningham,
basketball.
I've been seeing that.
Yeah,
Like, all of a sudden, she's like, well, fuck this. I'm a
it's
black belt.
way
And,
more interesting, dude.
she's just, yeah, it is. It is. And,
I don't fucking
well, you know what?
play, dude. That shit, that
We'll,
shit's cool.
we'll talk about this a little more next week. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're going through the transition, and it's a matter of they can get through it. This is like basically what early '80s NBA was. Because if people remember, not that people know, like late '70s, '80s, right before Bird and Magic, because I think '79, it was really in a slump, and they brought it up, but it was still very physical, a lot of fighting, and
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
that rivalry to bring it up. And I think the Caitlin Clark, though Angel Reese kind of talked way too much shit and can't back it up, so that's a little bit of a problem. But I
But we,
think,
but we love that sports.
but the thing is, if she would have just kind of played into the rivalry more, it would have helped. But we'll see. It's definitely obviously Caitlin Clark has brought more eyes to it, and yes, it is way more physical. So we'll see. It depends how they get out of this. The real question is, will people watch? I mean, they're still losing money even with the
Um,
Caitlin Clark. So we'll see.
and the popularity has increased dramatically. And when I play 2K, I play the WNBA. Because I don't know, it's just fun. I that's how I got into the WNBA to begin with. I had gotten something free on PlayStation Plus, and it was one of the 2Ks. I don't remember; it was a few years back, but
Well, I think
um,
2K25 just became free too.
yeah. So I mean, I was playing as the Connecticut Sun because that's like the closest to Boston. I think Boston should have a WNBA team. Um, but the Connecticut Sun, obviously named after Mohegan Sun and shit like that. Um, I was playing as them, and I would go through like their seasons and shit. And I was having a great fucking time. Um, I don't know. I just felt more of a cooler situation, and now it's like getting hype and everything. And I know they're not making the money that the NBA does, but I think the product is getting better and better. But like you just said with Caitlin Clark, it's about your superstars. If you don't have superstars in your league that people go and want to watch and shit like that, you're not going to have a sports league. It does whether it's male or female or anything like that. You gotta have superstars.
And then one
Like
night, Sophie
everybody knows Caitlin
Cunningham.
Clark,
Yeah, and look,
right? Everybody knows Angel Reese. Everybody knows Caitlin Clark. Like those are household names. 5 years ago, you didn't have household names for WNBA players.
nope.
So that's a big thing for that. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a coming episode.
We will. I know we've been on for an hour and a half. This is, I think, the longest we've gone on a live show recently. So anything you want to end this with before we get going? I know we'll talk a little WNBA.
I think we
I'll put that
covered
in my
it.
notes for next week. Hold on. WNBA.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. You're talking about basketball and how you hated the threes and shit like that. We discussed that with the Celtics run.
Well, no,
That
no,
you
no,
didn't
no.
like that
I
brand.
don't
We'll
hate the
discuss that
threes.
later.
When it's not working, change your fucking game. I ever
You're
since
using
in
too
the
much
'80s, I
common
love
sense,
a good
Chad.
3 point shot. Just when they quickly pull up. But it's not then you can rely on. And the Celtics prove, yeah, you can try. And if you fail, yeah, if you don't change it, you're gonna get your asses beat. So
You got
that was
nothing
my
else.
problem. I'm like, it's just like anything in sports, you know what I mean? I get it. You gave it a shot. You're trying something new or something different, and if it's not working, you need to adapt. But
Yeah. Well, they were like, "Hey, this is our identity, and we're either going to sink or swim based off of that." And I think that there's an argument to be made for that as well. But your argument is very logical and has a lot of common sense.
yeah,
As a
the
coach
goal should be
yourself
to
of
win a
a
championship. That is
sports
your
team.
goal. If you're in sports, you want to win. That is it. That is period. End of
Coach
story.
Chad.
Yes, we made the championship.
Coach
We
Chad.
lost our championship game. That happens, but you know what? We made it. They fought their tails
Hey,
off. You
you were
know,
there.
we were there. We played the better team. They were undefeated all season for a reason. We were just the only team that
Mhm.
could keep them under 20. We just couldn't score enough. We had the best defense in the
Yeah.
league. Yeah, it just happened. So anyhow,
Mhm.
that will do it for this week. We should be back next week, same time, same channel, talking about God knows what
Yes.
else. We'll
Mhm.
get ready for the next pay per view. Who
More
knows?
Panda Express talk.
More. Who knows? Maybe we go to Panda Express on a Saturday I was going to say it tonight, but that would be talking about the next day. We'll see. We have to do a Panda Express trip. Now, it's just one of those
Yes.
things we got to do now. A Nashua trip. We'll just do the tour to Nashua.
The tour of Nashua.
Here's where Uno's used to, we'll take pictures. Like, this is where Uno's used to
Yes.
be. It is
And
now
standing
still.
right here are the ruins of an Uno's. And right here, this nail salon was Blockbuster Video.
Well, not anymore, but I always laugh delivering mail in there, because I just popped in. Actually, when it was a Joseph A. Bank, I laughed because I actually had to usually go to the back room because they'd have things going out, and I'm like, I know this back room,
Mhm.
I recognize this area. But yeah, no, there's a lot of things change, but a lot of things stay the same. Panera's still there, and so is Brothers Butcher, which was there since
Yeah.
yeah. So
Dude, Barnes and Noble's still there. Like that. Like, the fuck? But
yeah,
there's a friendly toast there.
people still read books, though. It's okay.
Did they have a friendly toast? They have a bunch of shit in like
Oh,
that
that
back area. That
yeah. There's a
PetSmart
secret
over
here.
there. Like, oh, the secret area of hell, that's called Ridge something Plaza.
Something like that.
Royal Ridge Plaza or some shit. Where fucking Shaw's is still there. That was my first job. Was working at that Shaw's as a cashier.
Damn. Long time ago in a
Yeah.
galaxy far, far away. But that should
Yeah.
do it. We don't have an
15.
outro. This is just us
We don't.
talking. Yeah, we need to come up with like an intro outro. We just like, hey, have a good week, and that's about it. So if anyone listens this far, give us an outro. We'll say it next week. But we know no one's listening. So, but Soto,
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I will announce this. If you are listening right now, if you made it all the way to the end, if you are somehow crazy for that, and I will say this, you can hold it to me. You can provide your email address. We'll get this done. You will be the winners. I will buy you a $20 gift card.
whoa,
Amazon.
whoa. All right, that's your money, not
It
mine.
won't happen. Yeah, it won't happen. But I'm doing this as a social experiment. It's like, is somebody? It wasn't announced. We didn't say it on Twitter or anything like that. But if you
I'm not even
find
going to post this.
little
I did not
Easter
know
egg,
this is happening. I will be honest.
if you
This is
find
Soto
this little
being
Easter
sperm.
egg, you find this Easter egg here at the end of this fucking video, I will personally award you a $20 Amazon gift card, courtesy of my ass. I tell you right now, it won't happen.
I'm not gonna tell anyone, but it would be funny if I called up my daughter like, hey,
Don't tell anybody.
No. I'm not.
No.
I'm not gonna put it on social media. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm actually extending the time so people just can't go right to the end. And listen, hold on. And this is the first person, so if it's not on YouTube, this goes up on Spotify on Monday. Make a comment.
Yeah.
We only have a few views on this one. Our Rotten Taste get okay views. Like, I mean, I say okay for us. But yeah, this one hasn't clicked yet. So yes, this is not planned. I had no idea. I'm going to leave this to Soto. Leave a comment.
Yes.
I think our email's in our description and whatnot, but we'll go from there. So anyhow, Soto, that will do it for this episode. Let's see if the social experiment works. But until next week, I don't know. Just have a good week, people. Enjoy the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That's coming up. Enjoy your 4th.
Don't stop believing, Just don't stop believing.